evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, good evening.
Okay. Thank you, Martin. Hope you guys are doing well. Martin, are
Yes,
you well?
I'm well.
Okay, perfect. Hope the rest are also doing well. So, yeah, we'll continue from where we left our class. That was last week. But maybe just before we proceed, maybe I'd like to hear, are there any challenges we faced during maybe our interaction with the data sometimes, or maybe anything you encountered that you'd like us to be able to assist on before we proceed? Any challenges you encountered? Anything that maybe you did not get quite clearly during the last class, maybe while you were reviewing the recording and you wanted it clarified? This will be an ideal time to let us know so that as we proceed, we are all moving together. All right, so silence means we are all good. So I'll just go ahead to what we are supposed to share in today's class. So let's proceed. So during the last session, we left the class having been able to develop a couple of visualizations just to be able to give us an insight into our data set. So we didn't come up basically with real questions, but at least we're able to answer to some of the questions just based on the data randomly. And so like, for example, someone looking at this dashboard, they can easily be able to tell the total number of employees in organization. They can tell the number of male and female employees within the organization. They can tell the total salaries that are paid to employees within this particular organization. You can also be able to see the filter for the date of hire, so you can be able to see as well the number of hires within the organization. You wanted us also to be able to look at the ratio of people who are active within the organization versus those who've already left the organization. So, yeah. We also have here the number of employees per different departments, and also we can also be able to look into the salaries. So I'm trying to reduce these so that we can create some more space for some other questions that we needed to answer. Okay. Okay, let me just resize this, and then I will fix them. Yes.
I have a question, and I don't want to hold anyone back. I got my Power BI desktop installed today. The one step to get to this visualization is just what I want to confirm. The selection to build this dashboard.
The selection.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'll show it in a moment, so don't worry. Get back to it. How we got to this. So I'm just trying to resize this so that at least we create some space for the visuals. Just demonstrate it shortly. Just give me a second. I'm trying to. So this is just basically resizing using your mouse pad and keyboard. I think they still seem to be slightly larger. So again, I'll need to resize them. So the call out value, and to give it to 7 for 12 shall do. It's too tiny, 14. Then the category label is basically this name down here. So, okay, let me just utilize it so that we don't have to work quite a lot by adding it to be a title. And then remember, I've selected everything here. So the beauty about selecting everything here is that when you're doing it's the same type of chart, whatever you do will also like take effect in terms of the changes over here. And then you come here to general and the properties. Maybe I think the height it's quite long, so I can maybe change the height to 75. Okay, still quite long, maybe 68, 67. Okay, 60. Okay, and then the width 174. I don't think the width has a problem. So let's retain our you can retain them there. And then of course here, pull this slightly up. That way. So if you wanted to add a visualization, so like for example, if you want to add a visualization to your report, so this is what you're calling the report view. This one, you remember. So if you want to add a visualization to the report view, you'll ask yourself maybe what you want to add. So say, for example, you wanted to be able to tell the number of employees who are active versus those that are already, those who are like active. Okay, actually, basically, I need to use this particular aggregation for the employment status. I want to know who is active, who was terminated for cause, and who was voluntarily terminated in my data. So I'll come up here and I'll need to utilize that. So first of all, I can either decide to pick the type of chart. So since the only 3 categories, I can opt to pick a donut chart. So on my donut chart, I'll add it here. And then I need to add in now the type of visuals. So the employment status is my key thing. So the employment status is what I need to add. So I can add it as a legend here because basically it will be a legend. And then I'll need to add in maybe something like the total. Okay, because we want to aggregate it by the total employees and you already created a measure. Remember, I created this measure that does count the distinct employee IDs because each and every role represents basically an employee within our data set. So I'll just bring it to values and then automatically I'll have created my donut chart that shows that level of aggregation within my data set. And so I have the total employees by employment status. So I already have fixed, I've created that. So depending on the type of visualization that you want to utilize, you can pick it or you can drag, then you can change it later. So say the other way will be, say for example, I want to create maybe by race. Okay, so I'll need to check first of all in my data, okay, or by maybe the performance score. Yeah, so I need to check by the performance score. I need to create maybe a visualization by the performance score. So I have the performance score. I can drag the performance score here. Then I'll drag in the number of the total number of employees within that visualization. But automatically, Power BI just comes and creates like okay, it will create a table based on what it feels. It chooses automatically. So I'd only say like the next time we'll pull it will be a table. It can pick any type of chart, but it's up to you now once okay. Once you've been able to bring in, then you'll ask yourself, is it the right type of chart that I want to be able to use to represent this data? If you feel the answer is no, then you can be able to change and be able to pick a chart that will be able to represent. Like for example, this one, I want to instead use a pie chart. So I'll just click on the pie chart and it will automatically be able to change this to a pie chart. And then it's up to me now to do the formatting. If I wanted to check, like for example, maybe the total employees, this is just a measure, it's an aggregation. I pull it in here. So it comes in automatically, it creates a bar chart. But I don't need a bar chart, instead I need a card. So this is called a card. So I'll just change it to a card so that I have something similar to this that I need to use in my report. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. What if we want to know the rate of attrition?
Okay, the rate of attrition, that's a very good question. So remember the attrition rate. So it's a calculation, right? So we need to be able to like tell the logic what is attrition, right? So attrition basically looks at the number of employees. So attrition is basically related to the employment status. So we'll need to take the total number of employees divided by those who've been able to leave the organization. So we can take it in this way. So we can create a measure because this is just a simple aggregation. So we can be able to create a measure that we are calling, okay, let's call this attrition. So attrition is basically a measure that like shows the people who've left the organization. So here I'll do a calculate function and then I'll pass in the total number of employees. Because this is already calculated, we don't have to redo it. But still, if we didn't have it, we could just still do a distinct count. But since we already have it, we can still be able to utilize it. So we are doing the total number of employees, but we're checking where the employment status is not equal to active. And then, so this will be able to count everyone who is not active, right? And then we are dividing this by the total number of employees so that you're able to get the ratio of attrition in our case. So once I click on that, then the attrition measure will be here. So for me to be able to visualize it, since it's a measure, I'll need to bring it maybe here in the data so that we can be able to tell what our attrition is. So let me bring it here so that it appears as a card. So I'll bring the attrition here. So you see it automatically it picks a bar chart, but I don't want to see it as a bar chart, so I'll change it to a card. But since I'd already formatted this, so I don't have to redo the formatting, so I'll just change to this. And then I'll have my attrition card already showing my data. Then of course this, to be able to tell the attrition rate, you see it's showing 0.33. So I need just to change the format here by clicking on the measure here itself and then coming here. So it will show you the measure tools. So on the measure tools, you can be able to just change here on this drop down and change it to a percentage. So once you change it to a percentage, so we already have our percentage here. And then on this particular measure tools, again, you can be able to determine the number of decimal places. So if you want it to have 0 decimal places, you just change it to 0 decimal places. And we'll have our attrition rate now showing here as 33%. I hope it makes sense. So it's just how you're able to look at the data. And then you're able to ask yourself the critical questions which you want to be able to answer, and then you'll be able to put in. So again, as we continue to like try to make our aesthetics on the dashboard, look at like, for example, this particular chart. You might realize maybe it's not it looks a little bit more congested, like more crowded. So we can be able to at least change some of the things on the chart. So I'll just come to, so then you click on that specific chart that we have done. Then you'll go to format your visual. So format your visual appears here. So for you to be able to format your visual, these are all the options that you offered, and also here on general. So to be able to start with, so maybe for example, I have my x-axis over here, but I feel like I don't need to have like maybe values on the, okay. We can start by not having, the title on the x-axis. So I've been able to remove the title on the x-axis because already in my title here on the top of my chart, it already explained what the chart is showing. So I don't necessarily need to have it. Same to the y-axis. I'll go to the y-axis down here and I'll just switch off the titles. And then at least I can leave maybe the values on the axis because maybe someone can be able to see it. But Power BI still offers you to be able to show you. So if you hover your mouse, it will still be able to show you like the exact value. But also something we are seeing here is like, for example, the salaries that we added. The salaries that we added here, it's not comma separated. So you just click on this, then you can add a comma separator so that it's easy for someone to be able to read your value. So say for example, I'm looking at salaries, yeah, I've added the comma separator, so it's easy for someone to read. If I'm looking at maybe the, that is also, the number of employees, the total number of employees, at least that one is not, does not have more than 3 figures. So I can just add it so that on the total employees, so that next time, maybe if we have more people coming to the organization, at least my numbers are feature approved enough. And then maybe, for example, like on our title, we want to center it. So maybe we want to change the font, maybe to something different. So I can change it, maybe to Segoi. Okay, but maybe I can also maybe reduce the size so that it's not too big. And then maybe I can center it so that it's centered. So I've been able to do that, simply that. And then try to resize it. So that's simply how you can be able to do the formatting. Then maybe maybe I'll be interested to have it neat. Okay, I can have it to have maybe a visual border outside. So I'll just come here to effects, then the visual border here, switch it on. So you need to try and interact as much as possible to be able to see what some of these things do on your own, so that at least you have an idea when you need to format. For me, it might seem simple, like if I wanted maybe to add maybe to change the color here, I can change the color, maybe give it maybe a different color, but I don't want to do that. I just want to remain the default color so that I don't have to do so much edit. So that is done. Then I can copy. Okay, since I've this chart and this one are almost similar, I can still do the format painting on this one, so that I don't have to redo the work. So that's the beauty about the format painter. Okay, then I'll try drag this here so that we have little space. This one I can still do the same format painting to the chart below it, so that just like that. I can still do the format paint to this one, and the changes will take effect. The same changes that like I was able to do in the first one. Then I'll resize it. And then, okay, let me try format paint these on this one. So it will not change. Okay, it has changed, but I realize it not everything has been changed as per what I wanted. So again, this one I can resize it to this. So remember, this chart is slightly different. So at least it has picked some of the changes that we did on this one, but not the exact same changes. So yeah, it's good just to be able to utilize that format paint as a shortcut so that you have uniformity across your tables. But now it boils down back to us to be able to see whether it's the exact same thing that you wanted. Like for example, me, I don't like having maybe the legend showing over here. I want to change it to the top. So I'll just come to this. Then I'll go to the legend. And then instead of center right, I want it to be top center. To be top centered. Then I don't want the legend to have a title. So I just put it off. Okay, if you put it bottom center again, you will be able to see that's how it appears. So since this is okay, same to this. Okay, since this almost same as the other one, we can still do the format paint for lazy people like me. And it'll be done just for the sake of time, so that at least we're able to cover a little bit more for class today. So that's how you're able to do the formatting. But over time, you can try and go through all these just to be able to try and play around with them to be able to see how they work. If you wanted to change the color on the slices, just highlight this. Ensure you always highlight the type of visual that you're looking at, and then you can go ahead to be able to change. Maybe if you wanted to use your own colors, you can be able to change it over here. Like for example, on this one, like for these, instead of maybe you just instead of having like someone to read through these numbers, you just need to use the absolute numbers over here. You can switch on these data labels instead, so that someone can easily just to be able to tell what is the number of individuals over here. Same to this one, because they are not much. Again, you can just change. I guess even this one you can add. The reason I'm not adding to this one, it's because we have the salaries and also the total employees over here. And if I add, it might be slightly too overcrowded. So I'll just allow maybe when someone wants to see, they'll hover their mouse over here to be able to understand maybe the numbers by themselves. But I can just show you. I can try so that we appreciate that data labels are also functional over here. So you can see it's showing it as a summary. Okay. But okay, it looks a little bit more crowded in the chat, so I can just leave it so that when someone is doing the chat, they can easily have it. And then remember we've added at least borders to most of the charts. So to most parts of the most of the visuals on our dashboard, so we can maintain that same level of uniformity across. And then remember, I think the font type we are using majorly is Segoe UI. So just for purposes of uniformity again, I'll come to visual here, then I'll go to values, and then I'll change this. Okay. Okay, semi-bold. Okay, I'll change that. And then also same to this one. Semi-bold. Okay, and then the slicer header. Again, you see it's having a different font. So you can just try and pick maybe the font that you like, or maybe the one that you prefer, so that when someone is looking at your dashboard, they can see a certain level of consistency in the visuals, because that is also another factor. Now, when you're telling your data story, at least you need to ensure there's a certain level of consistency on the numbers that you're building. And then we'll try just to resize this. I'll take it slightly lower. Okay. That I bring this one here. Okay, you can pull this up. Then I think we can create another slicer, maybe for something else. And maybe, okay. So at least we need to ensure these ones are almost the same size so that we have similar slicers. So I can change this one instead of using the state, maybe something we have not used. I think you have the race here, you have the race. Okay, the marital status. So we can add maybe the maritals, but it's okay. Let me see marital status description. Okay. Yeah, we can add the marital status description over here so that if someone is filtering through a dashboard, they can be able to see how many people are divorced, yeah, how many people are married, the numbers will see them interacting. Then you can also have a select all. If you wanted to know how many people are widowed, again, you can just click on the slicer here and it will make the entire dashboard interact. But also remember these ones, even if you clicked on this one, this dashboard is quite interactive. So even if I clicked on maybe a recruitment source here, all the other metrics on the dashboard here will be able to interact. Any questions up to this point in time? Any questions? I believe we're all following. Okay, thank you. So silence means you guys are following. So we'll continue. So this is just a sample of a report that we've been able to create. Yeah, and I also told you about adding images, right? So I'll rename this to maybe report. Report. Okay. I also told you it's possible for us to be able to add images. So if I wanted to add an image to my report, maybe a logo of my company, I'll just go to add an image. Okay, sorry for this. Okay. I'll go to home. I think I used that image. Okay, you can add an like a logo for my company to my report. So like for example, this is data to insight. So I'll just add it. Okay, it's too tiny, but anyway, that's just for purposes of example. So I can add it here. Yeah, so that's how you add your logo as an image. Just go to insert, then there's this add an image over here, sorry, this image here, then you can be able to add it. So that's how you're able to add an image. Once you're done, your report is already coming into shape. At least you've been able to answer a couple of questions. So if someone came to my dashboard, they can be able to see which department has many people, or which one has like the highest number of consumes like the biggest percentage of the wage bill within the company. Someone wanted to hire, and maybe they wanted to be able to see what is maybe like based on the recruitment metrics within the organization. Again, you can also easily be able to tell which is the recruitment source with the highest number of employees. So most employees are recruited from Indeed, LinkedIn, then you have Google search, then you have the employee referral program. So even if you are to hire someone within the organization, you're likely to, there's a likelihood that this person will be coming from that specific recruitment source. If you went to maybe the age groups, you will see like most people within the organization are aged between 41 and 50. And so it's up to you, maybe within the HR department, to start doing your succession planning, to be able to see how you're able to ensure when these people are retiring or leaving the organization, you can still be able to see how does this affect productivity, especially within the event. So if I clicked here at 41 to 50, and just to be able to look at the numbers, to be able to see how many of them meet their expectations, you can be able to see 31.41% are able to meet the organizations in this particular, able to meet the expectations based on the performance, and only 4%, okay, 5%, 4.49% are able to exceed expectations. 2.88% need improvement. None of them is on PIP. So in this particular category, based on the entire company. Again, if you looked at maybe 0 to 40 years, you can also be able to look at the data and make your own conclusion of it. And then you can be able to see again in this particular category, same thing. So it's up to you. Then you can be able to see most people are white within the organization. The number 66 points. Okay, the attrition rate, of course, at 33%. It means our okay, what is the opposite of attrition? I think the attrition is opposite of, okay, the attrition and turnover rate is the same. So what is the opposite of attrition? Someone?
Retention.
Yeah, retention. So you can be able to see only 66.7% of people have been retained within the organization. So this is just validates our data is correct. So, and then the 33% of course is contributed by people within this particular category. Those who left voluntarily and those who are terminated for cause. When you look at the performance, again, you see most people only fully meet the expectations. And then we only have 11.86%, or roughly 12% who are able to exceed expectation. The 5.7% who need improvement. Again, you can just click on the need improvement and you'll be able to see most of them are within this particular age bracket, those who need improvement. Then let's see those who are in PIP. Again, I just click on that slice alone. Then I can also be able to see those who are on PIP. We have 4, 5 in this category, 3 in this, 1 in this, and then none in the 70+ years category. So this how we're able to play around with your data. And so once you're able to validate and you're able to see your numbers, so I've not talked about this. So for these particular filters, basically they're able to guide you. So it's up to you just to be able to check. They enable you to be able to filter your data based on the date of hire. So maybe I just want to be able to see maybe people who hired between 1st of September 2006 and 11th of and 24th of, sorry, this is 24th of November 2020. So I can be able to see we're only able to hire 22 employees within this particular period. And this is how, this is the breakdown. So these slicers normally filter the entire dashboard. If I filtered up to that, so it doesn't mean this is the only one that works. So I can also be able to click on this button, this month picker here, and I'll check the interaction through my dashboard. And then I can change, maybe I just want up to maybe 2017, December 2017, or anything for the year 2017. So I'll just check until everything for the year 2017, just to be able to see. So I'll put in January 2017. So these are in 2017, they only hired 6 employees. So that's also something for you to be able to consider. Oh, and then I forgot, we needed to add another chart for hiring plans. Okay, yeah, maybe that will also be relevant to help us understand. So maybe, okay, let me try and see if we can add an extra chart over here. Okay, okay, at least it's understandable. Okay, I'll drag this. Okay, I'll change this and I'll move it down here. The same size, but anyway, at least we've been able to understand the logic. So I need to add here another one, just a line chart so that we're able to appreciate the trends. So I'll add here, and then I'll put in, okay, I can drag in just the date of hire, and then I'll drag in the total number of employees. So I'll drag in the total number of employees. So you can be able to see I've added in a chart here. And then this is what we are calling the hierarchy. So the beauty about this is that the moment I activate this drill down, I can be able to see. So the first thing it shows is the year. Then I can go to the quarter only. So I can see the interaction across all quarters within my data set, just to be able to see which quarter most people hired using the drop down. And again, I can still be able to see the month. So you can see most people are hired in January. January is the month, the highest number of hires within this particular organization. Then I can go down still to be able to see the date of the month. So the day of the month. So you can see most people were hired on the 5th day of the month. So within this particular organization. Then if I wanted to go back, I'll just still scroll back to the very last part. And then if I retain this one here, I can also try to check. Okay, these also drill down, but this one expands to one level down the hierarchy. So it checks. So like for example, this one is showing per year, and then aggregated at a quarter level. So you can be able to see the quarter with the highest number of hires was 2015 quarter one. So 2015 quarter one is where we had the highest number of employees, which is 31. And then if I went another level down, just to be able to understand on which month, in which year. So the month with the highest number of hires is January 2011. And in that month, we were able to hire 15 employees. So this is how the hierarchy works. I could still go down to day, but I think it will be quite crowded. Yeah, it will be quite crowded, but we can still be able to tell again the day here. We can be able to say it's 2011, January 10th is when we had the highest number of employees coming to the organization. Again, if you want to go back, you'll just drill up so that you're able to get context. I can leave it here so that at least when someone is looking at the dashboard, they can see it by quarter. And maybe if I wanted to see it by month, I can just go to month. And then keep note that when you're viewing your dashboard, you normally have, okay, for these charts, for the cards, you don't have this option, but for this other type of charts within the table, you have the privilege of utilizing this focus mode. So focus mode enables you to expand your screen. It moves you to the next screen. So let's move to focus mode if you just wanted to be able to focus on this. So when you're doing your drill down, you can easily be able to have like more space to be able to check where the spikes are. So that is just something. And then once you're done, just go back to report and it will take you to where you are. So then that will be the end of it. Let me see. So I didn't add the format paint, so I can still format paint this here. Yeah. Then just move it back. Okay, you can drill it up and just leave it to maybe, yeah, the quarter, so that at least there's some level of trends being shown from which quarters or which years had the highest number of hires. So that is just how you're able to interact with your dashboard. So the moment you are done and you feel like maybe you've been able to check through whatever each and every stakeholder wanted you to do, you are allowed now to publish your report. And so I know you guys don't have like the capacity to be able to publish a report because you don't have like an active Power BI account. but I'll quickly show you. I'll quickly show you how to do it so that you can be able to appreciate the process. So I'll publish it to my workspace, then at least that will give us a certain level of capacity to understand now what Power BI service is. Any questions up to this point? Yeah, and also just to note, this will be like our last class. Then I think the next time we'll meet is during the project presentation. I'll share the project at least by end of week that you'll maybe spend some time to work on. Then we can come back to review what you have done. So any questions? Are we following or am I alone? Sound check. Am I audible? Okay, someone is asking, how do you connect Power BI to a folder? Okay, I don't know. I've never connected my Power BI to a folder. I only link it to a specific data source. I don't know if there's a way you can link it to a folder. Let's see. So you just go to get data. Okay. There's a folder here. So if you had a folder that you wanted to connect to, just go to get data and then you go to that specific folder. Then click connect. Then you need to pass in the folder that part that has your data here. Then you should be able to pick your data sources from the next window that will come after here. So you can explore that, Victor, just to be able to see how it works. Yeah, but there's an option for that here in Power BI. So you can try that so long as you direct your Power BI path to where your data is. I think it should be able to work. Any other question? Any other question? Any other question? Okay, no question. So we'll proceed. We'll proceed. So for you to be able to publish your report, you need to ensure you've logged in to your Power BI using your Power BI service credentials. Okay, one thing before we go, that you can also be able to change this. Okay, just ensure you've not selected anything in this report, like you've not highlighted any visual, then you come to visualization and then you click format your report page. So this gives you the option now to be able to format your report page. So the report informations, like I changed it here, but I can also be able to change the same here. So I don't necessarily need to do that. Then on the canvas setting, the type of the canvas that we are using here, you can also be able to adjust that maybe to what you want, or maybe you can customize it. So maybe instead of 720, maybe you wanted the height to be 1,000. So see what happens. So you also have like more space to be able to create here, but I just want to maintain the 720 so that someone looking at my dashboard, they'll be able to see everything at a go. Same thing to the width. You can also be able to change the width of your report. Then your alignment, you can also be able to change it, whether it's top or middle. Okay, you can play around that. The canvas background, you can also be able to change the background color instead of having it purely white. You can change it maybe to gray, like I've done, and change this transparency to something, yeah, 63. Okay, let me put it at 76, so you can be able to see at least the background is not very white. So I think that is one thing. The wallpaper, maybe if you had a wallpaper of an image instead, you could still be able to utilize that over here. So that yeah, then at least it catches me where I had not done the right thing. So I think that brings me to end. Yeah. and align these ones so that they are the same. Yeah, and then another thing, what else? Yeah. On the canvas here again, if you had a filter pen and filter cards, you could also be able to check. So that is that. Once you're done, I think maybe you can review maybe with your UI UX skills to be able to see maybe whether this is what you wanted to be able to build, or maybe it answers to the questions that you had in mind. Maybe it's the HR business partner, so this is a HR data set. Okay. Yeah. So if maybe you are the HR business partner, maybe you can now, this is the right time to be able to review before your dashboard is published. Maybe now, after it has been built by your analyst, you want it now to be published and ready for sharing to other stakeholders within the organization. So for us to be able to do that, you just come here to publish. Publish. Yeah, then it will ask me where I want to be able to publish my report. So you have a couple of workspaces. So I'll just publish to this one predictive analytics project. Yeah. So it takes a bit of time. So this is linking now our Power BI to our admin portal. So it's already done. So I can just click on this link and it will redirect me to the browser. So it redirects me to the page where my report is published. So my report is no longer mine alone. Okay, just a second. My report is not mine alone, but it's here now available, so I can be able to. Okay, just give me a second to authenticate it. Yeah, so once you're able to authenticate okay, that's just a step. Okay, I don't need this to buy it. Yeah, so this is our report. Our report is now live online. Anyone coming to this page, they can be able to see our report. They can be able to interact with it. So if you're in my organization and I wanted to share this report with you, like for example, I'll just come to this. Okay, I think this is a bit, okay, there's something not right, but it allows me to be able to, this allows me to be able to share this report with people within my organization. So I can just click on this. So this will be active so that when I'm sharing, like I can share the report with individuals by just searching their names over here, and it will be able to share the report with them. Not sure. Okay, I'm not sure the workspace owner. Okay, so we have what we call the home button over here. So this home button over here allows you to be able to see all the types of reports that you have, and also the different workspaces that you interact with within Power BI. If you wanted to create, you can also be able to build a report on the web, though this is still a little bit not very, it doesn't have all the features that we have. We've been able to utilize here on Power BI desktop, all these. So it's still a work in progress, but I believe maybe in the next coming months, Microsoft will already have like shelved off maybe something that we can be able to utilize to be able to build a report, so that even someone who does not have like a PC, they can easily be able to build a report here on the web, so long as they can upload the different data sets. So yeah, so even you can see they don't see the source you're looking for, just download the desktop app. So this is also limiting because some of the sources are already not yet supported over here, so still a work in progress, as I said, but hopefully in the near future, this will be supported. For browse here, gives you the capability to be able to browse for your different reports that you have in this particular in your workspace that you're interacting with. Then the One Lake catalog. Okay. One Lake catalog, basically it's just still all the items, but here you can be able to see group by different workspaces. and also different activities. Then on the apps, so if you have published an app, so you can also be able to see an app that you have created. So an app, we talked about an app being an aggregation of different reports or dashboards in your Power BI service. So you're able, in the Power BI service is when you can be able to create an app. So this app had a couple of dashboards for you to be able to look into. I won't open it because I think it has some sensitive information, so you can skip that. And then you can also be able to build metrics. So metrics, the beauty about this metrics part is that you can be able to, you can create what you're calling a scorecard. So basically, this is a goal and it can be able to track information from different dashboards within your organization. So it's up to you to be able to set up what your current value is, maybe what your thresholds are, and then you need to be able to connect to a data set so that if maybe certain metric is at risk, then at least Power BI will still be able to send you an email or a trigger showing you maybe you are lagging behind, or maybe your attrition is going below the expected value. So it's up to you now to be able to set up the rules here, and then maybe and give it a timeline. So just the same way as scorecard is normally is. So you're able to state your goal, link it to an owner. If you have multiple owners, again, you can still be able to be able to put in the multiple owners. Then you set in the value that you want them to be able to achieve. And then if it's a manual goal, if you're using maybe a goal or you want to connect it to a data source so that it keeps on checking again, it can be done here. And then you enter the values here, and then that will be done. So I don't want to create one, so I'll close that. And then you have workspaces. So workspaces basically are just what helps you to be able to manage the different reports that you are. So if I'm having maybe the reports that are basically tailored towards maybe a specific thing, maybe supply chain department, I'll create a workspace that is specifically linked to people within the supply chain department, so that each and every report, or maybe each and every data set that I'm creating can only be accessed in that specific workspace. So once people in that particular workspace, they can be able to access those data sets and work on them. So if maybe there are certain critical, so this majorly in terms of trying to manage your data security within the organization. And then you have here the file option. So this file option enables you to be able to save this dashboard as a copy, and maybe you want to utilize it elsewhere. So you don't want people to see maybe certain changes that you're making. So you can save it as a copy and you go build maybe something else on top of it. You can also be able to download this file as long as you are also like you have a certain level of okay, the role that you have is more of an admin role. For this, you'll have this option to be able to download this file. You can also print this page. I think this is open to everyone. So just the same way you can print a page. So this will just give you so that you can print your dashboard at that specific point, and maybe you put it on paper. You can also be able to embed this particular report to maybe a SharePoint online or a website or a portal, so that maybe other people can be able to use it. That is also allowable. You can also be able to generate a QR code, so that if someone scans that QR code, it will direct them to this particular dashboard. Settings has quite a lot to be able to handle. I think I'll come to it. So this is where you manage the security to this particular dashboard. You can be able to ensure like the type of people you give, who is the contact person to it. Yeah. I think I'll share that. Then export, you can export this dashboard. You can export the underlying data and analyze it in Excel. So those people would like that. If you can't use it as a PowerPoint, you can export it as a PowerPoint. If you want to export it as a PDF, you can as well do that. If you wanted to share again here, I said you can share it, but I think mine is a bit limited. I think there's something I changed in the backend. I'll need to retrace and find out what that is. Then you can also be able to explore. This explore gives you the option now to be able to play around with the underlying data set for your data. If you wanted to create maybe a different visual, you can create a visual and just be able to see maybe what is happening. Maybe we did not create something on citizenship. Maybe you just bring citizenship. Maybe you wanted to see by the total number of employees. You just bring in the total number of employees by citizenship, and for you to be able to see. Okay, I don't know why it's still loading. Okay. Okay. We can try that. Okay. No, I needed to take total employees to values. Okay. So it will create something, but it's up to you to try and see whether it makes sense. I've never utilized it before, but you can try it on your own. So and then you can subscribe to this report so that it keeps sending you an email each and every day. So if you create a subscription, it means it will keep on sending you a screenshot of the same report each and every period that you set for. So if I create a subscription here, it will ask me for which page, and then it will tell me if it's a daily thing. If I want to receive a screenshot of this dashboard to my email every day, I'll just subscribe. Once I save the subscription, each and every day, I'll receive a screenshot of this particular dashboard to my report. Then set alert. So set alert gives you the capability to set alerts or maybe on specific things. So maybe if I wanted to be able to check on attrition, which card? I don't know if it's card number 4. Number 4. Okay. Okay, card number 4. Number 5. Okay, card number 5 on attrition. I wanted to maybe set maybe a notification so that it's able to notify me maybe via Teams. Okay. Think it's only Teams that, okay, I want it to notify me via email. So when attrition becomes any value greater than, when it goes anything greater than maybe say 40%, I want it to notify me on email. So I'll just click on that and I click on apply. So anytime, so this alert has been set on this particular report. So the moment attrition goes beyond 40%, this will now be able to send me an alert, and I'll be able to realize now an attrition has crossed 40%. So it's up to me to be able, as maybe the HR manager, to be able to know why most people are leaving the organization. Edit. A good option here. So if maybe you wanted to change something and you didn't want to have to change it on the Power BI desktop, you have this option to do the edits over here. You can edit something, but it's quite dangerous to edit a dashboard that is live. But anyway, there are situations that actually might necessitate you to get that point in time. So yeah, so when you get to that place, you can utilize this button. Get insights. I shared about this, I think, sometimes back when you're starting our classes. So get insights basically gives you a certain level of what I'll say, like insights into the numbers that you're displaying here. So it will tell you anomalies in total employees, etc., both high and low between January 2011 and 2015. Recent anomaly. Okay, that's just about employees. So let's just look. Okay. They might not be very accurate. So overall total employees currently at 312. Total employees for ZIP 1886 and other segments are significantly higher than others. So I think this is a zip code for specific location. So again, yeah, I think those are the only insights. Overall attrition is currently at 33%. Attrition for the recruitment score, online web applications and other segments are significantly higher than others. So people who are their recruitment source is online web, and they come who come from this online web are the ones who are leaving the organization more. So that's also like an insight that we could tell immediately when we looked at this particular data set on attrition. So that also gives us a way to be able to treat people. Okay, it's only one person either way. So not a great insight. So that's also able to rule out some of these insights. They are AI generated, so at some point it might not be very wise to just consume them. So you have to also look at your data to be able to ensure. Usage metrics here gives you like an insight into the number of people who are viewing your reports and your dashboards. So it gives you an insight to be able to check and tell. So let's say, for example, okay. Okay, just need to switch to this. So say for example, okay, because our report hasn't had any views yet, that's why our report usage is still 0 everywhere. But that's normally how it works. You just need to check the different months that you are in, and it will give you a highlight into who are the unique users of your dashboard, how many times they've opened the reports, the number of pages they've viewed. So it gives you an insight so that at least you can be able to tell whatever you built is being used or it's not being used by your audience. Then, okay, I needed to talk about settings so that I'm able to be very clear. Yeah, so once you're on your like your specific dashboard, like for example on this one, we are onto our workspace and we wanted to be able to set some refreshes on this dashboard. So you can schedule a refresh. Okay, let's just click on this so that you're able to see some of the values. Yeah, so remember the data source that you're using is basically directly from our desktop, so it's not linked like anywhere. So we can't set up an automated refresh unless we have what we call a gateway. So even this one is deactivated. So unless we changed our data source to something that is maybe a live connection to maybe somewhere, so that you can be able to schedule the refresh. But you can get that here. So just click on, then you'll be able to set up the refreshes here. So if you want it daily, just choose once daily. If you want it to be able to refresh maybe at specific intervals within the day, again, you have that level of capability to be able to add those times here, also depending on the type of license that you have. So that is it, unless we have any questions. Yeah, that is it. Any questions, any comments, any concerns? That's the end of my session. Yeah. Any questions? All right. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening to me. It's quite been a good for like the last two. Okay, this is the third week. It's been really a good 3 weeks with each and every one of you, just being able to try to put things together. And I believe you've been able to add a skill into your arsenal or your skill box, so that you can be able to utilize it. In case of any questions, any concerns, feel free to raise them over the WhatsApp chat, or maybe just reach out, and we'll be able to support. Next steps include a capstone project, which will be shared. And once you're able to complete on the capstone project, we'll agree on a day where each and every one of you will be able to present the capstone project to the entire team. And then once you're able to present the capstone project, I think you'll be done with your course. You'll get the next maybe steps thereafter from Joel. So thank you very much, everyone. It was a pleasure meeting you virtually for these classes, and I wish you a lovely time as you try put this into implementation. Asanteni sana. I'll hand over the meeting back to Joel.